to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I'm joined by my good buddy Matt.
I saw someone on Twitter today
Okay.
defending the PS Vita in the year 2019.
All right. So give me the crux of it. Where are they trying to argue?
So it was in the context of how the PS Vita is a very comparable system to the Nintendo Switch Lite in terms of size and power.
Okay.
And how they were saying that how critics, quote unquote, big quotation marks, were very positive on the Switch Lite, but didn't pay any mind to the Vita at all.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing. The
Yeah.
Vita lost to a console that had trouble playing games in 240p in the 3DS. And also doesn't have any games.
Well, so this is my big problem with PlayStation, and I'm sure many of our football fan base will just take a back seat for a second. We got to put the virtual part of our podcast up in front for a second. The thing about the PS Vita is that every game that was on the PS Vita was on the PlayStation. So like, wouldn't you just rather play it on the PlayStation at that point?
Also like every Vita game has gotten ported pretty much.
Right, well, that's what I mean. Like, it's like
Yeah.
you could just go to there, and it's not like I think that there was just never an appeal for the Vita where you have the 3DS or these Nintendo has just owned the mobile gaming market in terms of the handhelds, the handheld market.
Was the Vita a more what's the word, technologically more advanced system? Yes.
Probably, yeah.
Was it better? No.
I think that
you can't play you don't got any games. You can't play games.
I think that's like I know everyone is so obsessed with specs nowadays, but you have to, if you have a good game that you could put on your handheld and it's playable, people are gonna buy your set console no matter how poor it is, or a console or handheld. And so that's what Nintendo did better than the PS Vita ultimately. So sucks to suck, man. I mean, I hope you enjoy your PS Vita. Good for you. I have a PSP that's like covered in dust at the moment somewhere around here. I never really got much interest into playing it since I bought it, so it's great. But anyhow, welcome back, Gridiron audience. Is
that what we're calling them now?
We will, over time, we will develop a much better fan base name for our virtual ball boys audience. But for now, you're the Gridiron audience. I meant specifically for the ones who completely turned out for our
video game talk.
Yeah, our complete video game talk.
If you want some video game podcast talk some more, be on the lookout for our upcoming podcast, The Gaming Coop.
Yes, that is in the works.
To be completed.
I'm hoping. I'm aiming for October, but we'll see.
Hey, it's October. Happy Spooky Month.
Yeah, happy Spooky Month, everyone. It is. This is the next 2 months, I think, are the best months in sports, because you got the baseball playoffs happening right now. You got NBA and NHL starting up again, and you got football where they're actually beginning to understand what the fuck football is again.
Yeah.
That's I think that's the best way that we could put it. And speaking of what in the world, I really felt like with the quarter pole of the season now here, essentially for 30 teams, I believe we should go back to a segment that we started week 1 in, what's weird?
What's weird?
Yeah, so we're gonna, as we just talk about the things that we find the most weird about this particular season thus far of what we have seen. So we could do this in any order whatsoever, in order of ridiculousness or however.
Whatever it ends up being.
Yeah, so you could start things off.
So what's weird, Chris?
What is weird?
The 49ers are the only undefeated team in the NFC.
Yes, they are.
You'd think at the start of the season it would be like the Rams or the Saints or someone like that, but no.
Yeah.
The 49ers have yet to lose a football game.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. I mean, of course, they are one of the two teams that have not played 4 games yet. But yeah,
Of course.
they are 3-0, and looking strong in their first 3 starts. They got a tough challenge on Monday night, but this is a team that is contending, and considering how deep the NFC West is, to see them at the top of the division right now, having the number 1 overall seed in the NFC projected right now, it's a little insane and a little weird at the same time, and good for them, and
They needed something like this.
Yeah, I think the fans have needed it for a long time. It's a very, Niners fans have generally not been there for their team in recent years, just kind of because of how poorly they've played. But now they're kind of coming back to this team because there seems like there's hype behind it, because they have a lot of weapons on offense. They got a defense that's young and ready to kill someone, and so it seems like it's ready to go right now. That's Kyle Shanahan's train is officially rolling and chewing all the way, hopefully to a playoff berth. And
yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. But you know what else is weird, Matt?
What?
That it feels like, as I mentioned earlier, like it feels like this is like the end of the preseason almost, because you've gone through 4 weeks now where play has just been very sloppy in many ways, from across the NFL, and you have 41% of the NFL field at the moment sitting at 2-2, completely even record, and this is by and large like it just still feels like it's anyone's, obviously this early on it's anyone's season, but it just feels like there's these 2-2 teams that we just do not know who they are quite yet, and I'm curious to see if any of these teams. First of all, the whole AFC South is 2-2.
That's wild.
Browns, Ravens, the top of that division, 2-2. Behind the Chiefs, you have the Raiders and Chargers, both 2-2. And you have the Eagles, the Giants, the Vikings, Buccaneers, Panthers, like all these teams, they're all 2-2, and you all have seen good things from them, and you've also seen bad things from them. What is it that's gonna stand? Which one of these teams is gonna stand out? I'm very curious. It feels like the season's starting this weekend.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
it's hard to see what the game plan for a lot of these teams is starting to form, that we usually get this idea of during preseason.
Yeah.
So I would agree. This is the end of preseason. The real games start now.
You're damn right.
You know what makes me see yellow a little bit?
What's that?
The refs right now are throwing a lot of flags. Almost seems like every other play there's a flag. Holding, pass interference, face mask.
Yeah.
And it, like, a lot of those, very obvious. But that may contribute to the idea that this is still preseason, in the sense that offensive linemen forgot how to block people without grabbing them in some way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that part of it, and we've discussed this before, they added a new holding rule, kind of, during the offseason. And it's kind of like it was put in place by defensive coaches who wanted the block to stop, but it's caused so many more holding penalties. They've tried to take a back seat to that in recent weeks. They've tried to say like stop doing the holding calls, but it still is so frequent. Pass interference is still a problem. It's constant, and it's making it, like I said, along those lines that you were just talking about. It makes the product a little unwatchable at the moment.
Yeah, and it's just like I, especially later on, every game I've watched this season, it's felt like the first quarter has gone extremely fast.
Sure.
And then you get into late game, and there's a flag.
And then there's another
flag. And then a really great down the field pass, and then there's a flag.
That's pass interference.
and
Offense goes back 10 years.
And it's pulled back.
Yeah, yeah. It's the refs are more involved in the NFL right now. At least it feels like than they have any other time. It's weird. I'm starting to know these refs' names like by heart, like Walt Coleman and Sean Hockley. Like it's bad. You should not know refs' names. It's bad.
I know them by face by this point.
Yeah,
but...
that's where we're at. Matt, you know what clears my sinuses?
That sounds like a good thing.
It is. Because Antonio Brown is out of the league at the moment.
Ah!
And so I know that everyone's sick of talking about Antonio Brown. I just feel like we should touch upon this because we haven't touched upon it since everything kind of like he spun out of control and everything. But the Patriots had him for about a week on the roster, and they finally let him go with mounting allegations. Him basically just he's now going after his accusers over text and trying to be like I will find shit about you, posting pictures of their children, and he's an awful human being, and I believe he's probably going to get another job at some point if the NFL does not give him any sort of suspension. I do not believe the NFL has any standard whatsoever. I think that he'll totally get a job again. But for now, my hope is that he doesn't. And I think that it's time to put talent aside, and when you're a bad, shitty human being, you get what you deserve.
Exactly. Kind of going with on that, Vontaze Burfict was suspended for the season.
Yes, yeah. So
which we could have included, but...
Yeah, no, it's along those lines. I think that the NFL needs to do better, has a terrible history of doing so, trying to, protect the people that are just making you look bad. But so far, kind of good. Like, right now, Antonio Brown's out of the league, but, I mean, that's not stopping anyone from signing him again. He could get signed again by another shitty franchise. But
of course.
Antonio Brown...
Looking at you, Washington.
Yeah, so Antonio Brown, I'm hoping, he stays out of the league. Let's hope that something comes down, because there's evidence there.
Who needs him?
We don't need him.
There's not really a team out there. Like, wide receivers, they're so common.
Yeah.
Good wide receivers are so common. Every team, like, you can say, except the Dolphins, but the Dolphins are a different story.
Yeah.
Like, every team you can say, oh, this team has a good wide receiver.
Yeah. There's something...
Name one that doesn't. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
One last thing on this, and then we can move on.
Maybe the time. Sorry, go ahead.
Adam Humphries is getting there, trust me, and Corey Davis. They're getting there. They're getting there.
AJ Brown.
Yeah, that's true. AJ Brown had a great year. All right, anyways. Antonio Brown, it is wild to me, though, just to think about this. This time last year, he's the biggest star in the NFL. Everyone loves him. He's not problematic in any way, shape, or form. He's
on the
star.
Madden cover.
He's on the Madden cover. He's the star of the Steelers.
He was on the Masked Singer. Like,
yeah, he's that was near when the thing started brewing there. But
that was end of his time. But on Steelers.
Right, but that was before anything bad started happening with him, or that he caused. But it is just insane to think that this time last year we're hailing Antonio Brown as the best wide receiver in the league, a class teammate, an amazing person to play for. Everyone wants to find their Antonio Brown, and now 365 days later, he is out of the league, out of a job, and almost everyone hates him. It's insane. It blows my mind. One of the craziest storylines that I've seen in the NFL since I started watching. But yeah, anyways, let's wash ourselves of that.
Yeah. Okay. You know what really tingles the old cranium?
What is that?
Backup quarterbacks are getting their time to shine this season.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Unfortunately, for poor reasons, mostly. But, well, yeah, poor. By poor reasons, I mean injuries, and you never want to wish injuries on people. But take a look at the mustached sensation Gardner Minshew, who has been a bright spot for Jacksonville, who has needed a bright spot. Who they thought Nick Foles was going to be it, But Minshew is playing actually pretty well, or at least as well as he needs to with a great defense.
Yeah.
Kyle Allen took down the Houston Texans, filling in for Cam Newton. And Chase Daniel stepped in to win the game against the Vikings. Backup quarterbacks. They this harkens back to me to that well, was it a Geico commercial where it was Luke McCown's like talking about how like maybe they just gave backups a chance. No, it was General Electric. It was like backup generators or something.
Yeah. I think it was either, I think you might have been on the right track with Geico, but yeah, it's something along those lines. Yeah, Luke McCown, and he's now out of the league, but
of course,
still like, yeah, it's fun. I think it's cool when you have. I mean, obviously, given the circumstances, you don't want to see anyone get hurt. You don't necessarily want to see a backup quarterback go in, but when you do, and you see them shine, it's awesome. And Minshew's has been so much fun to watch. I think Kyle Allen, he's been doing all right. I think that right now, any past speculation of where maybe Cam Newton will never get his job back, I think that's kind of we could brush that aside. I think that Cam Newton will get his job back when he gets healthy again, but Kyle Allen has been doing a decent job winning games for them, and he's been the only quarterback to win games for Carolina this year.
Exactly. So I think that I think sorry to cut you off.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Having backup quarterbacks who can win you games when your starter is out is very important.
Yeah, and I mean, and plus, just to bring attention to a backup, who was going to be a backup quarterback to soon to be the franchise star, has gotten his opportunity early in Daniel Jones, and he's shown through 2 weeks that there might be some bumps and bruises along the way, but he's playing very, very well, and so it's cool to see these new guys take the spotlight. I'm very excited to see what happens moving forward. And Mason Rudolph hasn't really gotten his footing in the league in any way, but if he can, he did decent on Monday. If he could continue that going into future weeks, it'd be interesting to see what this team could do. Probably the Steelers won't make the playoffs, but maybe they could be frisky. Who knows? But backup quarterbacks are fun, for sure. You know what? Completely just takes my eyeballs out of my face.
What?
The Buccaneers and Titans' existence, because I mean, I know we just talked about like the 2-2 teams, but I want to just take the moment to talk about just them, because they have 2 quarterbacks from the 2015 class that are such enigmas in their own way. It's like it's the stupidest debate that we have to have. Who's the better quarterback, Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota? You can make the argument for one, you can make the argument for the other. You could also say they both suck, and you could also say that they both rule. I don't know, it depends on what fucking game that you watch. Because what's so insane to me is that last week, with the Buccaneers and Titans playing the Jaguars and Giants, you can make the argument that these quarterbacks are busts. They're not going to be making it further. Jameis Winston made some plays against the Giants, but I think overall we're just over the Bucs experiment with Bruce Arians and Jameis Winston. And the Titans, there's no hope for Mariota. Might as well start to get Tannehill in. And then you come to this past Sunday, and the Buccaneers put up 50 against the freaking Rams.
The Rams!
And then Titans, Marcus Mariota just absolutely annihilates them with his offensive weapons, A.J. Brown specifically. So it's like, what are these teams? I have no idea. I just feel like I know for a fact that I'm not going to get a single game right when picking between the Buccaneers and Titans the rest of the season. And they play each other. They play each other this year. So that's even going to be worse.
Yes.
It's going to be... So I don't know what to think of them. I'm kind of glad they're 2-2 right now, because that's exactly what they look like. And
both of them are going to finish 8-8.
I think that you're probably right at this point, and both of them got tough tests this Sunday, and I'm at a loss. I don't want anything to do with either of these teams until they can be more consistent. I just don't want to even think about them.
Hey, you want to hear a fun fact?
What's that?
Mariota is number 6 in passer rating through 4 games.
I mean, come on, man. Does
you want to hear?
Who's
Do you want to hear who's ahead of him?
Sure.
All right. I'll read one down because it gets more unbelievable the more you go down the list.
Okay.
Number 1 is Mahomes.
Okay.
Number 2 is Russell Wilson.
Yes.
Number 3, Dak Prescott.
Okay.
Number 4, Lamar Jackson.
Not surprised by any of that thus far.
Number 5, Gardner Minshew.
Okay. All right, Mr. Minshew.
And number 6, Mariota.
I like how initially it was Dalton who was number 1 for a while, and then he just dropped off in the recent weeks.
It's like, oh yeah, the Bengals.
Yeah.
He remembered he played for the Bengals.
And then he dropped off everything right there. It is insane to me, and I just Mario he throws a lot of shorter passes because he has not thrown a lot downfield, but then you have a few passes last game where he did throw downfield. So I have no idea how to deal with these two teams. They're annoying. Anyways, moving forward.
Moving forward, you know what throws me into a grave?
Wow, that turned dark real quick. What's that?
Yeah. We have some more dead teams to announce. Teams that will not make the playoffs in our eyes.
Sure. Yes. So last we checked, it was all the 0-3 teams plus the Titans and Raiders. So who else are we adding to this list at the moment?
Well, we said the Titans and Raiders. The Titans may have zombified themselves now.
Who knows? I am fine with saying the Titans won't make the playoffs because at this point that's what they've been doing. I just don't care enough about them.
They did it 2 years ago, though.
I know they did.
And the AFC is really comparable to how they were 2 years ago.
I don't know, man. I'm scared. Just go ahead.
So the teams that we decided that we are adding to the graveyard, the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
They don't have a defense.
Yeah.
Their offense is not doing what it needs to do. Still passing very well.
Yeah. So I just want to make a note too that I did have written down here the Broncos and Steelers. We've already declared them dead because they were. Okay. Yes, just to keep in mind. So it's really the Falcons.
Yes,
that we're talking about.
They were 0-3. Okay, so Falcons are the only ones that we're adding this week, unless there are any other surprise additions.
That I can think of at the moment. I think. I feel pretty confident right now into saying I think we're just gonna throw the Falcons out there.
Okay.
Because they have been the most disappointing team again.
It's so upsetting.
Yeah.
I want them to do well so bad, and then they come out and just suck.
So the reason why I initially had the Broncos and Steelers, where we talked about that, was just because these were all 3 teams I felt like were contenders in some way, shape, or form going into the season with the talent that they had on their teams. I think we were probably not as high on some as others, but they were at least a general consensus in the outside world was that these teams were going to perform and do well because they have what it takes. And we have just not seen that from any of these teams. The Falcons once against the Eagles, and that's it. And then the Steelers showed a little bit of life against the Bengals.
Yeah,
it's bad.
It's bad.
It's a rough shape, but I think overall, I'm looking very much forward to if they can cause a little bit more chaos and then turn against us and be like, hey, screw you for turning against us and calling us dead because we're not. Because who knows? We still got 12 games in the season, so all hell can break loose for all we know with any of them. And last but not least for me, what has me remove my shirt and take a cheese grater to my back?
Ow! Jeez.
Returning to the backup quarterback situation, one of the teams that I have to deal with is the New York Jets. And I just have to say, and I've stated before, Giants are my number 1 team, but I do like the Jets because a lot of my family are Jets fans, and I've really wanted them to get out of the rut that they're in. And then their quarterback gets fucking mono. What is happening? Of of all things, I know that we've been joking about this for weeks now, but I at least other people of other outlets have been joking about it. But I just really want to state again, the Jets quarterback is out for weeks with freaking a high school romance illness. That's what he's out with. That's why he's gone. His spleen is enlarged.
We kept talking about, like, if he plays, he would die.
He would absolutely die, but it's like, how does this even happen in the first place?
Like, every other injury that that has happened this season, like, if they play on it, it's gonna hurt, like, a lot.
Yes, yeah.
And they may, like, lose the limb, lose the appendage.
Yeah.
But if Sam Darnold played with mono, he would actually die.
It's like, it just blows my mind that this Jets team that had relatively high expectations, not like division, right? No way. But they had, like, they could be frisky this year, hell, it's 4 games of the season, they still could. But Darnold is out for the foreseeable future, and it's just amazing to me that their best defensive player has been out a few weeks in C.J. Mosley, or one of their best defensive players, and Le'Veon Bell had to carry his team on his back, and the quarterback has mono. That's why the Jets are bad right now, or one of the reasons the Jets are bad right now is because Darnold somehow contracted an illness that apparently you can't recover, that it's taking forever to recover from. It's amazing to me, and I'm totally taking a card out of Rich Eisen's pocket right now, but he talked about it for weeks. The ESPN card of them saying he has mononucleosis and Sam Darnold pointing at the camera, like they've had to use that for a while. They've had that in the bank and they really wanted to use it, and so they used that imagery, that him like standing around doing awesome things with the words mononucleosis in the background on the green screen. It's like this. It's the epitome. It's the epitome.
It's epitome, Chris.
No, I know. I was calling back. I said epitome one time, and I got called out for it.
And I kept making fun of him.
So I went inside joke. Anyways, the Jets are they are continue to be the Jets. It's amazing to me. It just is. Anywho, with that being said,
did when you were in high school, did you ever know anyone who had mono?
No. That's the thing. Okay. I mean, I think
I knew one guy in my gym class had mono, and he couldn't do gym class stuff.
Yeah, well,
because right. He would die.
Right. I know that I mean, maybe I have to look back on it because it's been a while since I went to high school, but I'm sure it's come out before. I don't know. Like, is that? I'm curious. Is mono like an age thing though too? Like, is it just like does this affect young people?
I think it may affect older people more seriously.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't have enough.
I
don't know enough about mono to debate it.
Yeah, it's a very unique thing. But anywho, sorry about that. That was you know what's weird.
Hey, you know what's weird?
That's I love those segments. I love ranting, so we'll bring that back for the halftime, the halfway point.
Week 8 or week 9.
Yeah, whichever one works out.
Week 9 is usually our halfway marker of the season.
Yeah, that works out, and we'll that's our flagship show where we kind of repick everything too. So it'll be fun. All right, we're bringing back another segment too this week. We're going back into the front office, and we're making we're gonna do another draft. It's time for virtual GMs, and so
this time,
yeah. So what we
will be picking with SpongeBob characters because we are both children.
Yeah, so we're trying to think of a game, and both me and Matt are huge fans of this one platformer that was a SpongeBob game called Battle for Bikini Bottom, which is getting a remake, and I think that we're just big fans of the cartoon in its heyday, so I thought, hey, why not? Let's do it. So this was mostly Matt's idea for the SpongeBob characters. to do that. All his idea. So
I still think it'll work well.
I think so, because I think you have a plethora of characters to choose from in a big old environment. So once again, we're going to be picking for 5 positions: a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, kicker, and a defensive player, just someone that you think could kick butt on defense. And so I believe that last time I was the first pick, so Matt, you will get the first pick for this one.
All right. So I have to pick the best SpongeBob character with my first overall pick. There's no question who I was going to choose with this, and I can't play cute at all because this is the Saquon Barkley of fantasy football.
Okay.
Like, you have to pick this person first.
Yes.
Overall.
By the way, this is the Golden Griffins you're drafting for, as I continue my run as the New York Broncos. Yes.
So the quarterback I am choosing is, of course, Sandy Cheeks.
All right. So
the most athletic SpongeBob character, who also will lead a team and has both the smarts and the athletic prowess to do so.
All right. So quarterback Sandy Cheeks. I like it. I think it's a really good pick. The best athlete of the bunch, I would say. I have to choose the second best athlete of the bunch for mine, and it's going to be on the defensive side. Someone that I think that could just take on anyone. That's Larry the Lobster.
Of course.
I think that he could just body slam anyone, and I think that he could just take it on. I had a similar pick last time with Incineroar as a defensive player. I like these just big, bulky, beings that will can just squash anyone, and Larry the Lobster I think will take care of business. So I would trust him on my defense very much. So.
All right.
And I think, did we do Snake Trap last time?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so I gotta go again. Okay, I really only had Larry the Lobster keyed up here, so I have to go through it here. So I was thinking about this here, and I think that the person that I would, or not the person, the sea creature, I guess, who I would trust the most as a kicker in this situation, I'm gonna go with Squidward. I think that
man, I was gonna use Squidward for a different position.
No, Squidward tentacles. I think that he has the ability. He's kicked out a lot of people a lot of people out of his house, specifically SpongeBob Patrick, and I think that he's gonna be accurate with it, and I think that he'll take care. He'll get those points, those long distance points for the Bozos.
Yes. Okay, I need to rethink my strategy. Did you Wikipedia? We're both on the Wikipedia SpongeBob character page, I assume.
Yes.
I don't think I would have ever considered Mrs. Puff and Pearl as main characters of the series.
Yeah, I
would have put them in the supporting character category.
Yeah. I mean, maybe close to the front, I would say.
Yeah, definitely
of supporting characters, but yeah,
them along with Larry the Lobster, just being they're important characters, but I don't know. They being main characters,
right? And it's kind of disrespectful to Gary the Snail because he's the last of the main characters. I would put him closer to the front there.
I would also put Sandy higher on the list, but that's just me.
Sure, yeah, before Brian and Karen, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
look it up on Wikipedia.
I'm getting off topic. I think I'm gonna go with a I think I'm gonna go with something similar.
Yeah.
In terms of my defensive person. Just someone large who can get in the way and kind of stop people from moving forward.
Yes.
I'm going to go with Pearl.
All right, yeah.
Pearl Krabs.
She can annihilate people, for sure.
Yeah, she can get in the way of people. She may not want to, because she's very much the teenage girl stereotype, but...
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Okay, and then with my other pick... This is going to be a weird one, but I think I did something similar with this with my RB pick last time. I'm actually going to go with Plankton as my running back.
Okay.
To sneak through the defensive line. sneak under them, just run under them.
Hopefully he doesn't get stomped on.
I mean, yeah. But
I like the strategy. I like the thinking.
Yeah. He'll get under there somehow.
Yeah, Sheldon Plankton. He will be your running back. Sheldon Plankton, Chumbucket University.
CBU.
The CBU. I was actually I'm looking at running back too right now.
Central Bichigan.
If I remember, I'm sure I will because I'm editing it tonight. That's the title of the episode right there.
Okay.
For no reason. That's the title. Anyways, I will go running back as well. I'm gonna go Mrs. Puff, and I think that she has a weapon of being able to inflate into a spiky ball and just roll through defenses. And I think that she's basically guaranteed the end zone at that point. So I'm gonna say
she could be the ball.
Right, exactly. So I that's exactly why I am choosing Mrs. Puff for this one. I very much am a believer on this front. I have been neglecting the quarterback position big time here. And the thing is, I feel like he chose the perfect quarterback. So it's very difficult for me to think of another one here. I'm gonna really pull this one out on, and I just because I'm thinking about it right now. I think it could be a little bit of a level playing field here, and I really hope I get this right because it's been a while since I've seen it. Hold on, I'm gonna make sure I get this right here.
Oh, you better.
Crap, I am Mindy. Princess Mindy's your quarterback.
Oh my god. Okay.
Because
that took too long.
That because I was like Misty. I don't know.
That's the Pokemon trainer.
Right, Princess Mindy. Oh, that's actually Pokemon might be where we have to go next for these virtual GMs.
Pokemon characters or Pokemon themselves?
Pokemon themselves. You would kick my ass in it, but I would.
But
I would be okay with that. Princess Mindy, because I think that she really helped guide a team before a time of Neanderthals through the depths of the ocean and onto the surface to rescue the crown. Through her own guidance, and I'm not, SpongeBob Patrick did it too, but I think that maybe them doing it alone is a little overrated, just a little bit. I think that Mindy was a big part of it, and I think Mindy, with the guidance that she has, I think that she's an athlete too. Like I know that she didn't really show it a lot, but I think that she can get it done. I like her at quarterback there. And then I have to freaking pick wide receiver. Shit. I'm like really. Who would be a good wide receiver on this team? You know what? We haven't picked him yet, and I guess I feel like I would feel bad if we just left him hanging here. I'm gonna go SpongeBob for one wide receiver.
Yeah,
because I think that he has the speed. I think he has the experience as a speedster superhero. Want to see me run to the rock? Want to see me do it again? He has the speed.
I'll take that.
I think that he has, I think he can extend himself. We actually, at my job, we have like these SpongeBob toys that we got recently, and there's one that's like a stretchy SpongeBob, and I feel like he's stretched enough that he can stretch up, grab the ball, and run with it in for a touchdown. So I like SpongeBob as a wide receiver. He's tiny too, though, so that might be difficult, but I think it could work out.
Okay, so I have one of them.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I think I just took 3 picks in a row.
Did you? Did you finish your roster?
Yeah, I did. Go ahead. Go first.
Wow. Okay.
If you want to take SpongeBob, you can.
No, I'm not. I will. You can have him.
Okay.
All right. So, I don't know who my wide receiver is going to be yet, but I was looking down at some of the more minor characters, and I think I found the perfect kicker.
Okay.
You know the fish that shouts my leg?
His leg breaks all the time. Why would you want him as your kicker?
Well, like, you have him kick, and then he shouts my leg, and then the ball goes in because I don't know. Sometimes good things happen when he shouts that.
Okay, so my leg guy is
Yeah,
ultimately
his canonical name is Fred.
Okay, Fred, my leg
Fred
guy.
shouts my leg whenever there's havoc or destruction.
Okay. All right, and then what's your wide receiver?
Gee, I don't know.
That was the hardest one I think of the bunch here. Was
Yeah.
to figure out wide receiver.
I mean, none of us have chosen Patrick yet, but Patrick would make a terrible wide receiver.
maybe running back.
Yeah.
Running back for me.
You know who I'm gonna go with?
Who are you gonna go with?
Realistic fish head.
Okay, why is that?
Well, he can kind of like appear out of reality.
Okay.
Like out of reality of what's going on, and that like out of reality just suddenly appearing somewhere, he can just be down the field, be where he needs to be to catch the ball.
We also don't know. There's that hand in Battle for Bikini Bottom that comes in and rescues people. That hand could be on that fish.
That's Hans.
Oh, that's Hans. Okay.
Yeah.
You wouldn't pick Hans. I mean, that's
yeah, I might go with Hans instead, unless I can find someone else.
Hans. I mean, because I stole a pick from you, so you can go ahead and you also have an option to take SpongeBob from me, and I can pick this wide receiver.
Yeah, that's true.
I did go ahead of you.
Yes. I'm gonna go with actually instead of Hans or Realistic Fishhead, I'm gonna go with King Neptune.
Okay. All right. Nice.
Big-bodied receiver.
Oh man.
Also has a trident to stab the ball with.
Yeah, and King that's a father going against his daughter. In a big spot. Yeah, that's tough. All right.
All right. So reading back my roster, I've got quarterback Sandy Cheeks, running back Plankton, wide receiver King Neptune, defense Pearl, and kicker my leg.
Yeah, I got Princess Mindy for quarterback. Running back is Mrs. Puff. Wide receiver is Mr. SpongeBob SquarePants. Defensive player Larry the Lobster, and the kicking prowess of Squidward Tentacles. So
see, I wanted to make Squidward my wide receiver, because of the suction cups.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I could do Squilliam.
Oh,
I'm gonna do Squilliam.
All right, so your last
Squilliam definitely was like a football scholarship in college.
Yeah.
Frat house.
I feel like so now I feel like the canonical elements of this is going to be that Squilliam formed this neat football team, and Squidward needed to form his own, and he got some people that betrayed their own. And form this football team, and now they're battling, and in the background you hear "Sweet Victory."
Perfect.
That's the halftime show.
This is the future liberals want. That didn't make any sense, but I'm gonna roll with it.
We gotta get the picks now. All right.
We should do the picks.
We should do the picks.
Make sure to vote on Twitter at @VirtualVolBoys on whose team you think is better.
Yep, expect the poll within a day or two of the podcast going up. All right, I'll keep all that in mind. Save that. All right, next up, let's do the picks. So, brief update. In another divided week, I am falling a little bit further behind here. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I had a feeling going into into Monday rather. That the Bengals were going to pull it out, and then the Steelers just completely annihilated them. So I'm luckily not as bad.
Not in as deep of a hole as you could have been.
Right, exactly. So you went 8-7 this week. I went 7-8. But once again, you're having trouble with your guarantees, and so and you didn't get your Team Chaos either. So you went -1. For now, so that the point that you had for going 8-7, it's gone. So you got no points this week.
Yes. Still at 7 points total.
Yes, and I lost a point because I went 7-8. I had no additional qualifier because no Team Chaos, but I got my guarantee. So I lost a point, so I'm at 4 points now. So I'm currently sitting at 34-28 with a -2 qualifier. at 4 points, and Matt is at 36-26, -3 qualifier with 7 points. And so,
yes, sir.
With that being said, let's go to our picks.
Let's get into our picks. Our Thursday night football matchup is the Los Angeles Rams in the divisional matchup against the Seattle Seahawks. Rams coming off the first loss of their season. The Seahawks coming off of their first divisional win. Mm-hmm. What do you think is going to happen in this matchup?
I believe that the Seattle Seahawks are at home and that they are going to... I think that they showed this last week that, you know, the Saints, they just had a tough time against a really good Saints team, and that they came back last week. They completely made that Cardinals game drama free, and I think that the Rams, that they've been just too off on offense. I know they scored 40 points, but that was also on the defense helped them on that front, and Jared Goff turned over the ball 4 times. His offensive line has not gone there. The defense gave up so many points as well. I've trusted the Rams team so much in the Sean McVay era, but right now it's in question. I'm going with the Seahawks.
Okay. This is a surprising one to me. And now I'm worried that we're going to divide on a pick per time slot again this season. Because I still feel confident in the Rams. I think that the Seahawks are still beatable, not by a team like the Cardinals, because they're the Cardinals. But the Rams are still a solid team, I feel. It's going to be a little harder on the road, but I'm still going to give the edge to the Rams in this one.
Okay. And next up, the Falcons going to Houston to take on the Texans. Texans coming off a tough, close loss with the Panthers, while the Falcons are just in a deep hole right now. They have 1 win on the season and currently dealing with a 2-game losing streak. What do you think is going to happen?
I think the Texans are going to establish themselves a little bit more easily against the Falcons than they did against the Panthers.
I think the Texans are at home, and I know that they lost at home last week, but I think that they are going against a team that has just not found itself at all. Is not the offense that it should be, not playing well on defense. I think Texans take care of business in this one as well.
Yes, same here. The Texans also, like the Panthers, actually have a good defense, which is a big contributing factor there. All right, next up, the Buffalo Bills come off their first loss of the season against the Patriots to take on Tennessee, who knows what the fuck is going on.
I'm gonna go with the Bills. I want to avoid the Titans at all costs here. I want to see a 3-game winning streak out of them before I really feel like I can pick them confidently, unless they're going against like a Dolphins or a Redskins or anything like that. I'm going with the Bills. Their defense is great, and I think that they're gonna take care of business again.
I feel like we need to like actually think about the possibility of the Titans going winning 3 games in a row, because I don't think it's physically possible. Like if they face the same skill level opponent every week, it would be impossible for them to win 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
Even if it's like if they face the Dolphins 3 weeks in a row, they would not win 3 weeks in a row. Maybe not Dolphins, bad example. If they face the Falcons.
Right.
Like, I don't think if they face the Falcons again, I don't think the Titans would win again. That's what I'm pointing out. Because I don't understand them at all.
No, I know.
I'm going with the Bills.
Yep, definitely. Next up, a London game, our first London game of the year, where the Bears are going to Oakland, quote unquote, to take on the Raiders. And this is the first London game of the year. The Raiders rather are not going to be playing in Oakland. Have not played in Oakland the last few weeks, and are not going to be playing in Oakland again until November. That's how much of a stretch this is for the Raiders to be on the road a lot. So they're in a tough position on that front, but the Bears are in a tough position as well because they're without their quarterback this week. Most likely Chase Daniel is going to be starting. But as the Khalil Mack revenge game, what do you have for this one?
The Khalil Mack revenge game is going to be so very sweet.
Yeah.
I'm nervous about the Bears' offense, of course. but this is one of the best defensive units, definitely in the league this year, but maybe of all time. I saw a comparison on Twitter of the 1985 champion Bears defense through 4 games and this Bears defense through 4 games.
Yes.
And granted, we haven't faced good offenses at all this year, but yeah, it's unfortunately I think going to be closer than I wanted it to be due to Chase Daniel being the starter over Trubisky, but I also don't know if Trubisky would have beat the Vikings. So I still feel confident. I still feel confident picking the Bears here.
So where I see it, I think that you can make the argument right now that this offense might be better with Chase Daniels in it. Not that Trubisky is a bad quarterback, but just it's a veteran guy who has stepped up in situations for the Bears and has played well
and has preseason experience.
Right? Well, he's just generally I think knowledge wise, the mental side of the game, I think he's gonna play a lot better right now. And I think that. There's the one game against the Giants last year where could I see it going in that direction? Maybe, but I don't really have a lot of faith in the Raiders, and I think the Bears are I think there's gonna be too much emotion in this game for the Raiders, for Khalil Mack. I think Khalil Mack with his the amount of emotion of him being basically said we don't want you by the Raiders. I think he's gonna use that in the game against them. So I'm going.
He's
with the
going
Bears.
to destroy them.
Yep, it's gonna be good.
All right, next game. The Arizona Cardinals travel to Cincinnati to face the Bengals. One of these teams will get a win. Or they'll tie.
Which just knowing the Cardinals thus far could happen.
It's possible. And the Bengals have been a tie-friendly team in the past, so.
Right. I'm guaranteeing the Bengals.
Okay.
This is... I know that I really shouldn't be playing with my points like this being down, but I just am looking at the situation right now. The Cardinals are going backwards, and they have to travel on the road to go to Cincinnati. And I think that this Bengals team, they've shown really nothing thus far, but I think that knowing that this is a game that they should win, I think they do it. I think that they just have more talent on this team. Even though they haven't shown it yet, they have more talent on this team. And the Cardinals are just so inept in so many ways right now. I have more faith in Bengals, so I'm guaranteeing it.
All right. I'm also going to go with the Bengals here.
Yes.
The Cliff Kingsbury experience is not working out very well.
Yeah, not in Arizona.
It's almost
not thus far.
It's almost as if you need to draft more than just wide receivers to make a football team.
It's Steve Keim should be on the clock as general manager.
Yes.
He's I do not think he's long for Arizona, but who knows? He was kept after the Steve Wilkes firing, so who knows? Next up, the Minnesota Vikings will be heading to the New York Giants. And Kirk Cousins is, still getting a lot of ridicule for, just the fact that he just has not lived up to the hype with Minnesota. May also be part of the reason might be that Mike Zimmer likes running the ball a lot more than they like throwing it. So that's something. When the Giants, they are going into it with a little bit more optimism in this game, but they are an undermanned team in comparison. What do you think is going to happen in this one?
This one is hard the more that I think about it. Yeah, because Dalvin Cook was the league's leading rusher until the Bears defense happened to him. And right. I still think that they'll continue to run the ball. And you have when you have the wide receiver, one of the best wide receivers in the game, come out and just say, we need to pass the ball more.
Yeah.
Jeez, man, I feel for Vikings fans, not a ton because Bears, but it's got to be so frustrating for them right now.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh my god, I don't know who to pick.
I'll get ahead of you. I'm going with the Vikings. Against my better judgment, I'm going with the Vikings.
Okay, I'm gonna go with them too, just because I think that Dalvin Cook at least will do fine for this team against a bad defense. When he plays bad defenses, he runs a lot.
Right. Yeah,
So I think
that's how I feel too. I think the defense. I think the Giants' defense. Everyone can say all they want about how they played well against the Redskins. It was the Redskins. I think that they are going to be shown up by a team that can run the ball really well on the ground, and it's going to be a problem for them. I really like the Vikings in this one. So
all right.
Yeah.
Instead of picking who's going to win between the Patriots and Washington, I want to look at the spread of 15.5.
Okay.
Do you think the Patriots will double cover?
Double cover.
Double cover.
Win by 30.
So they will win by 31 or more.
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say no, because I think that generally in the NFL you don't see that a ton. A 31 point, win. Even though
I will say the Patriots did double cover the Dolphins.
True, and there's arguments that the Dolphins could beat the Redskins next week. I'll lean towards no, though. I'll say that they won't, but
what about cover and a half?
Cover.
So like 20. That would be like 22 points.
I'll say that.
Okay,
I'll say
cool.
that. I think that's fair. I think that by 3 scores, I think is a pretty decent margins to say. But yeah, I'm going Patriots.
Obviously.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Right. Tampa Bay Buccaneers will go to New Orleans, take on the Saints. A kind of juicy NFC South battle. Buccaneers, we've already discussed. Where are they? But it seems like their offense is getting on the roll, and Shaq Barrett continues to playing a defensive playing level. Got another sack in this game, and is up to 9 on the year already. The Saints, meanwhile, are 2-0 without Drew Brees. They're playing out of their minds. It's an all-around great operation here. What do you think's gonna happen in this one?
I had a lot of confidence in the Saints last week. I have a lot of confidence in them this week.
Yeah,
I'm going to stick with the Saints, as even though the Buccaneers put up a 55 burger on the Rams.
Yeah.
The Saints are still a really good team. They shut down a favorite NFC team last week. So I think they can do it again. Yes. Especially at home. So let's go Saints.
All right. And yeah, I will be going Saints as well. Pretty confident about that. I think it's gonna be a good game. I don't think this is gonna be a blowout or anything like that. I think it's gonna be a tough game. Yep. But I think Saints are should be favored in this one.
Jets Eagles. Jets quarterback. Maybe is he back or is he still out with mono?
He's out.
He's out. Okay.
More likely.
Yeah. Well, the Jets didn't lose last week, but Philly's coming off a good win against Green Bay. I don't see any world where the Jets pull this one out.
Yeah, the Eagles are, despite their injuries, have been playing very well, and I think they're one of the more dangerous teams in the NFC. So I don't see the Jets doing well. So I think they go to 0-4. So Eagles, gotta go with them. Next up, the Ravens at the Steelers. In the past, this rivalry has been tough. Now the Ravens are on a 2-game skid, of course, but the Steelers got at least one win. But the Ravens, whose defense has been not good this year. I know that we want to say like the Browns have. They completely annihilate them. But the Ravens defense this year has actually statistically not been good. How he was in past years. Their free agents have been kind of disappointing thus far.
Not what they needed to be.
They're definitely this is one of the biggest struggles for the Ravens right now is having to overcome a defense that's just not there. But they're facing the Steelers. They could get a reprieve, potentially break the winning streak. What do you think is going to happen, or break the losing streak? What's going to happen?
I still think I don't think the Steelers are good enough to beat the Ravens, especially with the Steelers defense, which is not bad, but the Ravens still have a very capable offense, and the Steelers beat the Bengals.
Yes.
So I have no doubt that the Ravens are gonna at least get some consistency with this game.
Yeah, I think that the Ravens are gonna win it, and I think at some point things will turn around for the defense because they just have always been a defensive team, but the fact they got rid of Suggs and Mosley, it's starting to show, and I think that the Ravens will win it for now. We will see what happens from there.
This matchup hurts me so much. The Jacksonville Jaguars against the Carolina Panthers. My number 2 and number 3 team, unrespectively. Panthers are 2, Jaguars are 3. Both these teams with a backup quarterback in tow, both with impressive defenses. What's going to be the result of this one?
This was a tough one. I think this was the toughest game to pick. One of the tougher games to pick of the week. I think, based off of what has happened, what has transpired, I believe in the Minshew magic, and I think that the defense for the Jaguars have played really well. I think that it's going to be tough on the road, but I just have a lot of faith that Minshew is going to pull this one out. I think that he has the ability to just not get too riled by great defenses. I mean, the Broncos defense started to wake up last week, and he still continued his magic. That's a tough. I know the Broncos are 0-4, but that's a tough place to play in Mile High, and he handled it like a champ. I really like him. I like Kyle Allen too, but I just don't think that Kyle Allen has had the magic. He's been more of a facilitator of what's been happening with McCaffrey and that defense. But yes. I believe in Minshew. I'm going to go with that.
How's Jacksonville's offensive line?
It's not great. But not the Panthers' offensive line's not great either.
Is it better than the Texans' offensive line?
Yes, I would say.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the Jaguars.
Okay.
This will be like I hope that I can watch this game somehow. Like I would maybe watch this game over the Bears game.
Yeah.
Just because I think it's actually going to be a good close game.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what exactly how that's gonna work. I don't know what the number 1 game for CBS will probably be Ravens Steelers, honestly.
Probably.
Considering
but yeah, I'm gonna go with Jacksonville.
Yeah. Was that your determining factor? Was the Jaguars' offensive line?
Kind of. Yeah. Panthers got 9 sacks against Watson last week.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, I think it's going to be an issue because I don't think the Jaguars' offensive line is good, but I also don't think the Panthers' offensive line is very great either. I think that's one of their weaker points of the team. So it's tough. It's a tough choice, but yeah, I'm going Jaguars as well on this. Next up, starting with our 4:00 slate here, the Denver Broncos going to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. Chargers are back at 2-2 after taking care of the Dolphins, easy peasy. The Broncos defense started to wake up last week, but their offense is still not there, and it's just the defense, as good as it started to become, was still not good enough to stop Minshew and from the team to score the game-winning field goal. Chargers also, they're getting Melvin Gordon back. So what do you think is going to happen here?
I think the Chargers still have what they need to take care of business.
Yep.
Broncos are a lost cause. They have been for me for a while.
Yep.
It's sad up in the Mile High City.
Yeah, they just lost Bradley Chubb to a torn ACL.
Oh, so. I didn't know that. That's even worse. Jeez.
Yeah. So that's Chargers are I wouldn't lock the game because I feel like I would not be able to
justify it.
Yeah, that's a very hard. That's a
Sell.
I feel like very easy one to go with. But I think the Chargers are gonna win this game. They should be fine.
John Elway, when Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl, John Elway was like, "Oh, we can't have any other good quarterbacks." because he wants to be the best Broncos quarterback of all time, and it got a little too close with Manning winning that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want any other good quarterbacks.
Yeah, they never really specify why Drew Lock went on the IR, you know? So,
Yeah.
just kidding, of course.
Next up, Green Bay Packers, coming off their first loss of the season, traveled to Dallas, who also came off of their first loss of the season.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing in Jerry World.
Yes.
What's going to happen?
This was, I think, the other really tough matchup to me. And I think when it all comes down to it, you have you have the Packers who are still trying to get their footing on offense. They started finding it a little bit in the Eagles game, and ironically, they lost that game. And as good as their defense has been, their rushing defense has been bad, and they're about to go up against Ezekiel Elliott. And I think it could be a really fun game because these games tend to be with these two teams. And usually Rodgers is on top of these games. I just don't really have faith in the Packers right now. I'm going with the Cowboys.
I'm going with the Cowboys too. I'm so confident with the Cowboys. I'm going to lock them, which means the Packers are going to win this game. But
I think I'm picking with you.
Yeah, I still feel confident overall about the Cowboys winning. They have the better overall team, and Matt LaFleur still needs to figure stuff out.
Yeah, definitely.
I forgot to bring this up during the Chargers thing, but the Chargers have some kicking news.
Oh, what's that?
The Chargers have signed former Illini quarterback Chase McLaughlin, or kicker Chase McLaughlin. Might as well have been our quarterback because he was the best player on the team my last 2 years there.
Okay, all right. So, I guess he's because they've been using their punter as their kicker lately.
Yes.
So,
yeah. So they signed the greatest player to ever come from Illinois, minus Geronimo Allison, that is currently in the NFL. A lot of disclaimers.
That's current. Yeah, definitely. I was about to say Dick Buckus.
Red Grange.
Anyways, next up, for Sunday Night Football, the Colts will be going to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. Their injuries was really the cause of what ended up having the Raiders beat them on Sunday, with T.Y. Hilton being out and a few key defensive players being out. It just was not good. I don't know what the status for it this week is. The Kansas City Chiefs, the first time in a while that Mahomes was held without a touchdown by the Detroit Lions. And they still were able to pull off a game-winning drive, still able to pull out a win, even though it got tight near the end. But what do you think is going to happen in this one?
With the Colts injuries, I don't see a lot of hope here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think whoever scheduling the Sunday and Monday Night Football games is regretting all the decisions they've made right now? Because this was definitely Andrew Luck versus Pat Mahomes matchup.
Oh, before
the season started.
Well, I think part of it was that last year on NBC was the playoff game between the Colts and the Chiefs. So I guess they were thinking it was a rematch. I don't know. I think we don't know about injury progress. If T.Y. Hilton plays, I'm certainly not trying to say that the Colts will beat them still, will beat the Chiefs, but I think that they would make it a little bit more an interesting game if Darius Leonard also comes back from injury as well. I think that would make it a much more interesting game. Right now, it looks pretty solid for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think the Lions also just are a better team than any of us expected them to be in general.
Sure. And
are further cementing the ideal of the NFC North being the best division in football right now.
yeah, pretty much. The worst record in that division's 2-2 with everyone else having winning records. So that's pretty.
Yes.
That's pretty good right now.
Yes. And last up, our Monday night matchup: the Cleveland Browns take on the undefeated San Francisco 49ers. How's this matchup gonna go?
This is a sneaky. I mean, I know you just said that Monday night people were regretting their decisions, but I find this one very juicy in a lot of ways because I think the Browns are finding their groove. Put up a 40 burger on the Ravens, and their offense is finding themselves. The defense is playing like one of the best in the league. But you do have a San Francisco 49ers team, which is 3-0. Haven't played. This is their toughest opponent yet. And it would be interesting to see how the quarterback, how Jimmy Garoppolo kind of deals with a very tough defensive line. But they have an array of weapons, as we've talked about, and maybe in a primetime spotlight, the Browns might fold. I'm gonna say the Browns are gonna win, and I'm gonna Team Chaos that. I think it's the best option for them. I think they're gonna really. I have a firm belief that this is the start of a turnaround for the Browns. It's still a tough slate ahead for them a little bit, but if they could get this win, it's gonna help them moving forward. It gives them a little bit of cushion.
And since I also have not said my Team Chaos yet, and it's the last matchup, I'm also going to go with the Browns. Yeah. Give the 49ers their first loss. And have a surprisingly only 2 undefeated teams through 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Usually it seems like there's more.
Yeah.
But this is a very middle-of-the-road, surprising season, I think, for a lot of situations. I like the Browns.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, now that we've gone through it, and we only disagree on one. I want to see if that
was Thursday night.
That was the Thursday night. Of course it is. We've disagreed on 3 Thursday nights in a row. I will. I wanna.
I can make it more interesting if you want me to.
What are you thinking?
Like something I would actually feel comfortable doing.
Okay, what's that?
I'm gonna switch to 49ers.
Okay.
And Team Chaos, the Buccaneers.
Oh shit! Whoa, you just changed 2 games on me. I thought you were just gonna go with like the Giants. I thought that was gonna be your because that was the one that was a bit of a toss up. Wow. Wait a minute. That just goes against everything that you said.
Yeah, but they also put 55 points up against the Rams, dude.
Okay, all right, fair.
On the road.
So all right, so now we've disagreed on 3. So we have a Team Chaos for the Buccaneers, a Team Chaos for the Cleveland Browns, and then we have just the Thursday Night Football game on its own. Wow. All right. You didn't have to do that. We could have just rolled with one.
No, I'm making it interesting.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I'm gonna regret this later, but
you may. But who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? Right. It could happen.
All right, so that's, and if I get all 3, I'm back. I would end up coming back. That's the weird thing about these records. If I get all 3, I'm back. I'm in front of the competition again. But if I only get 2 of the 3, I think I'm still back by 1. I think I'm still behind you by 1 game. It's like weird how it works because I end up getting a loss, so like the win and loss cancels each other out. So it's
plus Team Chaos with the points will
the points will definitely be a weird dynamic there. All right.
Yeah.
So you have it.
I gotta make this interesting somehow.
Yeah, fair enough. I respect it. I can respect it. You may get all 3 correct, and I'm gonna really be sad. Sad boy. Still, I'm gonna be down by 5. But anyways, all good. Guys, thank you all so much for watching or for listening. It's been good, cool, really cool 5 weeks of doing this podcast. I've enjoyed it a lot. Going into going to next week, I want to see, we'll have maybe some new segments coming up soon, because I wanted to recycle a few that we enjoyed the first time, but we'll see what new things we could kind of come up with for future weeks at time.
Yeah.
Let us know if you have any ideas for potential segments via our Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys. And of course, follow us for any additional content at Team Chaos Pods, Team Chaos Pods, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Team Chaos Pods
on Twitter. So that's it. Thank you all so much for listening. See you next week.
Good night and good ball. Virtual Ball Boys has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.